Hey guys, I just bought this Mercedes EQE from Germany and I'm exporting it to Finland. So I'm currently driving today from Malmö to Stockholm, and I'm taking the ferry from Stockholm or the Stockholm region towards Finland. And I did also a vacation in Austria in combination with picking up the car from Germany. So I have had now a bit more than a week of driving on this EQE, and I must say it's a very comfortable car to drive. All the equipment in the car, for example, for keeping it in the lane, and the adaptive cruise control works very well. In this video, I will be explaining a few things about why we chose the Mercedes EQE and why we decided to buy it in Germany and how the export procedure works. So first of all, let's start with the Mercedes EQE. This is year model 23, so it's roughly almost 3 years old now, and it has roughly 50,000 kilometers on it. So it's maybe not as new as I would have hoped. Maybe the year model 24 would have been better, because that would have had some upgrades, and also I would have preferred a bit less mileage on the car. Okay, 50,000 kilometers is not that much. The battery warranty is 250,000 kilometers or 10 years. So that's still fine. But from an export point of view, the taxation in Finland would have allowed to have a car which is just more than 6 months old, or more than 6,000 kilometers driven, so that it's considered used, and then there's no import tax for a fully electric car. I know there would have been there's quite a wide selection of Mercedes EQEs in Germany. There would have been cars which are driven less, but getting all the equipment which we wanted kind of led us to buy this one. So the reason why we wanted a Mercedes is because we were looking for a car with air suspension, so that it's as comfortable as possible for driving, and kind of many of the cars which have air suspension didn't really look that nice from our point of view, and we decided to go with the Mercedes EQE or the EQS and the sedan version of those, because the SUV version, again, the styling is, in our opinion, not that nice. And kind of comparing this to the BMW 530e, which we also still have, we're in the process of selling that. I must say that this is quite a huge upgrade compared to that in comfort. So the suspension is better, the car is more quiet, and I feel that the seats are better. Okay, we took the multi-contour seats with the massage functionality on this car, so it kind of has the best seats available. This is the EQE 500, and okay, it has more power than for example, the EQE 300, but we were not really interested in the speed or power, because the acceleration on the car is anyhow good enough. And we wanted to have the hyperscreen, so this EQE has this kind of single plane of glass, and there are kind of 3 screens under that, so it looks better, and it's quite a bit nicer than the regular screen. So we wanted Airmatic to have the air suspension, we wanted the 4matic for the four-wheel drive, then we wanted the hyperscreen, and we wanted to have the multi-contour seats, and we also wanted to have ventilated seats, and well, all of those requirements were met, and kind of those equipment kind of lead towards the higher end cars, and you get pretty much all the best equipment in the car. There's also for the EQE there's the AMG lineup cars, and those have more power, which we were not interested in, but the equipment kind of start to get similar. But then those AMG line more sporty cars, the seats get a bit different and some coloring things we didn't like that much, so we decided to go with the EQE 500, and I think we got pretty much everything we wanted. And we also considered the EQS, but that's still quite a bit more price. So getting an EQS with all the equipment we wanted and not being driven that much started to look like something like 65,000 euros to 70,000 euros, which is was kind of over our budget. And this one was 52.7 thousand euros, so that still fitted our budget. And also, like, comparing to cars in Finland, we would easily have paid over 60,000 euros to get all the equipment. So, or if for a similar price, maybe 54,000 euros, we would have got a more driven car which is older than this, like a year model 22, so 1 year older, and maybe like 30,000 more driven, and maybe some equipment would have been dropped, but we would have got the essentials which we wanted. So that's an advantage for buying the car in Germany, that the prices are cheaper and there's more selection. And one additional advantage, at least currently, was that Mercedes is giving this Junge Sterne warranty. So this Junge Sterne, young stars guarantee in Finland would have been, or the equivalent of that would have been 2 years, but in Germany with that campaign you got 5 years, and that's valid in all of the EU countries. So even though we export it to Finland, we can use that guarantee in Finland if something needs to be repaired, and we can take care of that in the local dealership. And there was also a 3,200 euro flex bonus, and that's a bit kind of strange that part of that flex bonus could be used for a kind of something which was called the charge credit, but it works more like a cash back. So 1,000 euros will be received as a cash back once we get the car registered in Finland. So that kind of drops the car price to 51,700 euros comparing to Finnish cars. And the rest of that flex bonus, the 2,200 euros, we we were able to use for accessories or equipment. And in Germany, cars are sold with one set of tires usually, as this was. So we could have used all the flex bonus for getting winter tires and rims, but the winter tires are kind of the middle European tires, not the Nordic style. So we decided to get a cheaper option, which was just getting the rims for 2,200 euros, and then we'll be buying a set of Nordic tires in Finland, which of course will cost something as well. So maybe then again we will most likely almost use that 1,000 euros for that. So the end result will be that car cost 52,700 euros, and then it's comparable to a car sold in Finland for 2 sets of tires. But of course an advantage is that the winter tire set will be fresh and new, not driven at all. So that's kind of the reasoning on why we decided to buy it in Germany. Of course, there's the consideration of getting it from Germany to Finland. You could arrange transport for it, but kind of combining it with a holiday in Middle Europe, which we anyhow liked, going hiking in the Alps and stuff like that. So then we didn't need to rent the car. So that kind of offsets some of the cost, like now driving the car to Finland, the ferries. I think I paid around 400 euros for the ferries, and of course the driving. I don't know, like, is it 700 from Malmo to Stockholm and like 800 kilometers in Germany. So kind of considering some time spent driving and getting used to the car, plus electric charging cost. So yeah, there is a bit of that, but there will not be any tax to be paid in Finland. Okay, the registration cost will be I don't fully remember, is it 100 or 200 euros for stuff like that, but that's quite a minor cost. So if you're thinking about a German-made car brand like a Mercedes or BMW or one of the Volkswagen brands, then buying it in Germany might be a good option. Yeah, something about the process of finding a car in Germany. So for Mercedes, I used the to get the Junge Stars warranty. I wanted to buy it from a Mercedes dealership, and using the Mercedes Gebrauchtwagen web page, which has the used vehicles from all the Mercedes dealerships and their own stores. You can find the cars which qualify and also qualify for that flex bonus. Of course, the prices from a non-Mercedes dealership might be a bit cheaper, but then you won't get that warranty. So buying it from a Mercedes dealership, I think, is worth it. And yeah, so we found this one in Stuttgart from it's Mercedes' own, well, that's the region which Mercedes is headquartered in, so it was actually their own store, so quite trustworthy buying it from them. And you also get good service at the Mercedes dealerships. So one thing to consider is that when you buy a car in Germany is that it doesn't come with the registration plates. So last time, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, I bought a BMW from a non-Mercedes dealership, and I asked them, can they arrange the Ausfuhrkennzeichen, which are the plates for export, the registration plates, and they said no, you need to do that yourself, and it's quite a hassle. It's a bit cheaper if you do it yourself, but it's quite a hassle because you can't actually take the car you are buying to the registration office. You need to rent a car or use a taxi to get papers for the car from the dealership, and then you need to go to the registration office, and then there's also that registration plates shop which you need to go to and go a few times forth and back, and then with those plates and the paperwork get back to the dealership So it's quite a hassle, and I did that with the BMW, but now with Mercedes I let them, because they had that service. It cost like 370 euros, which covered the registration plates for 30 days and the mandatory insurance and the service fee for them. So I think that was really nice. So now when I arrived at the dealership in the morning, when they opened, the car was there ready with the registration plates, and I just needed to sign some paperwork and I received the keys and was ready to go. And also one thing to consider is that Germany has very good and EU has very good consumer protection. So when I actually bought the car in advance when I was in Finland, I get a 14 days right of doing the purchase. So I actually signed the purchase agreement in advance, and I transferred the money like 3 days or 2 days in advance before flying to pick up the car, and everything went just fine with that. And if something would have not met the paperwork, or there would have been some issue with the car, I would have been allowed to undo the purchase. And yeah, that's one advantage. I know some people do it so that they just fly to a city in Germany with a few cars in mind, and then they go check them out and decide. But I prefer a lot more doing all the checks and kind of in advance and doing the actual purchase when I'm still home, and then when that's all agreed, then I will book the flights and so on. So one thing actually which surprised me, that many Mercedes dealerships said that from the decision to buy the car, they need 10 working days to arrange everything on the car. So for that new star's warranty, they want to do a maintenance check, and getting that done takes some time, and also arranging those export plates takes some time. So I was a bit late with that, so just something to bear in mind if you decide to export a car. So they did it faster for me. I think they did it in like maybe 5 days. But yeah, of course that kind of makes your negotiation a bit harder. Something also to check is the car accident free. So you can use the VIN number to check that from car vertical or pages like that. But in Germany, like, just ask the seller and they will tell you. And yeah, like if it has been in a collision, most likely it's just best to skip that car, because it will affect the resale value. And then like if it was larger damage, then like you might have the body bent or something like that. So better to just find one which is accident free. And well, just for peace of mind, you can do the VIN check anyhow. I did purchase the VIN check and did that as well. If there's some export aspects I didn't cover in this video, please leave a comment down below if there are some aspects which you're interested in. And if you're interested in more content on the Mercedes EQE 500, let me know down below in the comments as well. Thanks for watching.